Good morning. Welcome to Unite Australia. Can we get the screen switched to my laptop? Yes, thank you. Hi, good morning again. I'm Eric Jewell. I'm the Director of Development from Unity's Copenhagen office. We're very happy to be here with you today. We're very honored to be able to share what's going on with Unity with all of you. So thank you for having us, and thank you all for coming. And of course, thank you also to our sponsors, who've been very supportive of us and have helped us to be here with you. So, to get things started, we thought we'd give you a bit of context about what's been going on with Unity. So what this number represents is the number of monthly active users that we had back in 2011. And over time, this number has grown incredibly large. It's just amazing, from 100,000 to over 500,000 monthly active users. And this is, of course, representative of all kinds of Unity users, from hobbyists to students, indies, small developers, large developers, and big publishers, with the context of something like over 3 million registered users. And of course, in Australia and New Zealand, back in 2011, that was like monthly active users were something like 6,500. And today, your numbers have grown to something like 23,500, which is, we think, is just amazing. We're very humbled by the numbers of people that are choosing to use the things that we have built. And thank you. So during all of this growth over the past several years, the games industry itself has become much more complex. And one example of that complexity is, of course, just the huge number of platforms that are now available for all of you, which this slide shows. Did show? Yes. So this slide is showing just many of the platforms that Unity currently supports. It was not long ago when cross-platform meant you might ship for PC and Mac, or Xbox and PC. But today, there are so many to choose from. And this comes with a lot of challenges. But it also comes with a lot of opportunity. And what we want to do at Unity is to make this easy for you so that you can get to all of these platforms. So we want to take away the challenges and set you up to be successful and take advantage of these opportunities. And also, over the same time period, as the games industry becomes more and more complex, more and more developers are choosing to use third-party engines to make their games. So from like 17% back in 2009 up to more than half today, developers are choosing to focus more on their content than they are on rolling their own engine. And of those developers that are choosing to go with third-party engines, the majority of them have chosen to use Unity, making us the #1 engine of choice in the industry, which, again, we're very honored by. And when you have this number of developers, we have some other very interesting statistics, such as over 500 million desktop installations of Unity games on Windows and Mac. And on mobile, almost 9 billion installations of Unity applications, which is just staggering to think about. But what all this really means for us is that we have an increased responsibility to all of you to continue to deliver the best technology and to make those platforms easily accessible and to set you up to be successful. So, as an example of that, Earlier this year, we worked with Apple to support their new graphics technology, Metal, for iOS 8. And with Metal in Unity, iOS developers have already been seeing huge performance improvements. I think anecdotally, there's been a couple of games reportedly went from 5 FPS to 30 FPS just by using this. And we're very excited to see more titles making use of this in the future. Another example, Oculus is, of course, the virtual reality platform that was recently acquired by Facebook. And according to Oculus, nearly 90% of Oculus titles are built with Unity. And so we worked with them to create a partnership where we can deliver improved support for Oculus in Unity 4 and 5 free to all of you. And of course, on consoles, we continue to invest very heavily in supporting our developers. And over the last 2 years, we've worked very hard with Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo to enable free access for Unity developers to next-gen console platforms. So taking all of this technology, all of these platforms, making it easy to and available to all of you is really a core tenet of Unity. We're very proud that we've been able to do this, to set you all up to be successful. And like as you were seeing in the intro video, most of those games are releasing across 6 or 7 or more platforms, as opposed to just the 2 or 3 that we would see several years ago. So what does all of this mean for you? Well, we go back to our company vision of democratizing game development, which has historically meant bringing the tools and technology usually reserved for just the larger developers and making that available to everyone. Everyone should be able to make games. But as this industry has become more and more complex, as sort of the theme of this keynote, it's become apparent that making technology available is not necessarily the only challenge anymore. And we realized that Unity needs to become more than just an engine, because once you've made your game, you now have to face a new series of challenges. So creating and connecting with an audience is really the next step that needs to be addressed. So can you find players? Can you understand what they are doing and what they need? And then maybe, hopefully, you can also make some money for your efforts. So we kind of visualize this as climbing a mountain. So if creating a game is climbing the first mountain, then more and more when developers get to the top of that, they're starting to see that there's a second mountain they must overcome. And that's the connection, connecting with an audience. Of course, we've delivered a lot of tools and technology to set you up to be successful to get over the first mountain. And now we are putting together services and technology to help you overcome the second mountain. And later in this keynote, Carl Kellewert will provide a bit more information about this for you. And we have another way we are helping you all to be as successful as possible. Today we are announcing the Unity Learning System. So the Unity Learning System is basically a pipeline that we are establishing between educational institutions and developers, which is essentially an educational program that has been developed by Unity, including for the first time ever certification. So this certification is open to everyone, and certified developers will be able to add themselves to a database in order to, for studios and other developers to find and make connections for employment or other collaborations. And we're going to roll this out first in Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia. And we'll be releasing more details about this soon. And of course, climbing that first mountain seems to never really get easier, but rather harder as the industry continues to become more complex. And so we have to continue to deliver to you the best tools and the best technology possible as fast as possible. So today, we're going to tell you a bit more about our upcoming releases with 4.6, 5.0, and then a glimpse into the future with 5.x. And so to describe the Unity 4.x cycle, I'd like to introduce a friend and colleague, Tim Cooper.
Good morning. So as you're all probably aware, we have Unity 5 coming out quite soon. But for the last 2 years, we've been working quite diligently on Unity 4. And it came out, I believe, in December 2 years ago. And that brings us to almost 2 years of continued improvement and support to Unity 4. What this means from a high level is that we've rolled out some big features, such as Mechanim, which is the animation toolset we have in Unity. It originally started out by some French Canadians as a tool for using generic retargeted animations for bipedal creatures. But what it is now is a generic and extensive animation system in Unity. If you're not familiar with it, it is quite flexible, it has a nice state machine controller, and it's really super nice to use. One of the other big things we've rolled out is 2D support. Now, this isn't just some minor workflow improvements on the top of Unity to make workflows a bit nicer for 2D. It also includes things like 2D physics built in from the ground up. And what this does is it allows you to have a very small footprinted game on a mobile platform, for example, as well as use physics that are designed to work very quickly in a 2D environment. One of the other big key features we had was Linux publishing. This is basically the final massive standalone platform we needed to support in Unity. And this allows you to get your games in packages like the Humble Bundle, reach more users, and it allowed us to further democratize game development. In addition to this, we rolled out a whole bunch of other minor features, or some of the major features for Unity. And this is something we continue to do, and it's why we are continuing to support Unity 4. During this cycle of developing Unity 4, we discovered that we needed to change a few things in how we do development. Because as we added these big features, it essentially took longer for us to develop them. And what this led to was our Sustainable Engineering Initiative. What this does is it allows us to get fixes and feature improvements to you faster. If you're not familiar with this, what it is every week we release a patch for Unity. And what it does is it contains critical bug fixes and things like SDK updates for the major platforms. And we're going to continue to do this, and what it allows us to do is get fixes to you so that you can ship your games better and faster. Now, that's Unity 4 as it currently stands. But let's look at what Unity 4 has for the next few months. So very soon, we're going to be shipping the new UI system. Is anyone here familiar with the new UI system? Have you used it? Okay, actually that's quite a few people, which is good. So the new UI system has been in development for a long time, and internally it's gone through a few reimagings and reimaginations. But for us, what we feel now we have is something really strong and really stable. And the design goals we followed when we went for the new UI system are things that allow it to be really powerful and strong for you and really easy for us to develop and improve in the future. What this means is that we wanted a UI system that if you're not a programmer, you can make a UI in a very simple, user-friendly way. If you are a programmer and want to write some custom elements for your UI, you can do this as well and extend the system. We wanted it to have super fast execution and not do redundant calculations and things that aren't needed every frame. And we also wanted to do things like reduce the memory footprint and not have garbage collection occurring every frame for the UI. In addition to this, we decided that to give more power to you, we would release it fully open source under the MIT license. And when we release the system, we'll also be releasing the source code for it. What this means is that under the MIT license, you can actually take the source code and do whatever you want with it. You could repackage it, you could rewrite internal parts, you could put things on the asset store, and the power for that is in your hands. Now, what I'm going to quickly do now is give a quick little demo of the UI system. So can we please switch over to the secondary laptop? Okay, so what we have here is we have a game called Ether, and it's a game that's currently in development, and it's a small independent game. And what Ether is it's a dungeon crawler similar to a game like Diablo. And what we'll do is we'll just start this. And as you can see here, all the UI elements that are currently here are using the new UI system. So they're quite responsive. So as you walk around, you can see the UI update. There's some nice animations and things. But what's really exciting in this game is that it actually has quite an extensive RPG-like UI. So what I'll do is I'll bring that up. And what you can see is we have a radial wheel for the UI that is responsive to key input. We can bring up an inventory. And by looking at this, you can see that it has the standard things you would expect in a RPG UI. You can move around in the inventory and get updated information on the elements. You can equip items. You can use items from your inventory. And you can also do things like increase your skills if you have level points and that kind of thing. Now, if we have a quick look here, what you'll see is that this is built using the UI framework. Now, here is the UI framework in the scene view, which if you're familiar with Unity, you probably know quite well. And it's built with a few elements. Now, in the UI system, we divide the components that we provide into three categories. We have layout elements, such as grid views and scroll views and that kind of thing. We have control and interaction elements, such as buttons and sliders and toggles. And we have drawing elements, such as text and images. So if we have a look here on the bag element, you'll see that it has on it a grid layout, which specifies things like cell size and layout. Now, we provide a number of different layouts out of the box in the UI system, but you can extend them and add your own as you see fit. Under this, for example, then you'll see that we provide things like the actual buttons themselves. And this controls how the button works. And the button itself we have here is actually constructed using a few different elements. We have the interaction component, which is the button. We have the image here, which is the background image. And then further down, there's another element which is currently disabled. Oops, where are we? For the text overlay, which because there's only one element, the code has disabled. But we could turn that on if we wanted. And you can see that the one appears. Now, this is using mostly out-of-the-box components, but it's easy to extend this and add your own elements to the new UI system. Later on today, there'll be a talk on the new UI system, specifically about how to extend it and do a lot of low-level improvements and changes to the system that are specific for your game. And I hope you can come along, and I look forward to seeing you there. So I'll now pass you back to Eric.
Thank you, Tim. So the UI system has been, I would say, lovingly crafted over the past several months by Tim and a bunch of other members of the Copenhagen team. I think you'll really see their passion and in this release. So now I think we should talk a bit about Unity 5. And first up, let's consider our lighting system. So the biggest change in, there we go. The biggest change in Unity 5 is by far our lighting system. So I think since Unity 3, we've been limited to just baked lighting. But with Unity 5, we've integrated Enlighten from Geomerics. And what this does is it provides us with real-time in-game global illumination, so that the light in any given point in the scene is going to be the sum of not just the light sources and environmental lighting, but also the bounce lighting from surface materials. So, so basically you can dynamically change with real-time global illumination. You can dynamically update your light sources, and you can dynamically modify your material properties. And with our workflow, we have this new iterative mode where it basically precludes the need to manually bake your scene. Instead, the editor will automatically pre-compute and bake changes for you behind the scenes, tracking changes in the scene and automatically executing the task required to fix up the lighting. And so the result is a much more realistic looking scene, and this much improved quality is available not just on high-end machines, but also for consoles and mobile devices. And this demo that you're seeing behind me is a demo that we put together for Android tablet. I think it's looking pretty good. So the other major update that we've made in Unity 5 has been to our shaders. So what we've added is a new standard shader in Unity 5 that is physically based, which provides much improved quality, faster iteration, and a better workflow. So in the past, if you wanted to get really, really great results, I think you had to write your own shader. But this standard shader is basically a tool for artists. And regardless of the texture and materials that you use for your game object, the result that you will get is a high quality, realistic looking object that reacts correctly to changes in lighting. And so here's a bit of a video showing a bit more about our physically based shader with our doll demo. So that was our doll, which is a demo that was put together by our team in Stockholm. This is a real-world example. Actually, this is a scene from Republic done by Camouflage Studios. And this image was actually done in Unity 4, and this is exactly how it looks on iOS and Android today. It's actually a very good-looking scene, and shows like what you can do with the Unity graphics engine right now. And this is another view of that same scene, showing off maybe a bit more of the floor and the marble tiles. But the point of this is that Camouflage Studios upgraded this scene to Unity 5 using the Enlightened Global Illumination and our physically based shader. So the result looks a bit like this. So the lighting is significantly different based on the bounce lighting from the materials that, and it's now reacting in a correct or realistic manner. The cloth looks much softer, and the marble is also a bit more reflective. So if we look back, Unity 4, that did not work exactly right. Okay. There's a bit of lag. Well, you know how demos go. And then, yes, okay, so this is the other scene, made in Unity 4. And this is what it looks like in Unity 5. Yeah, so again, the materials are reflecting and bouncing light in a much more realistic way. We've got a bit more shine to the marble. It's more reflective. The wood is absorbing light a bit more. The cloth is absorbing light. It's a much softer lighting and much more realistic. Hopefully I can go back again. No, it just doesn't want to let me do it. Yes. So that's Unity 4. And that's Unity 5. And you can expect the same improvement in your games when you upgrade to Unity 5 and use the global illumination system in the physically based shader. And I think it took them 3 days of work just to update this scene, so that's not so bad. So another significant update to Unity 5 is our audio system, which has been completely rewritten, and including a bunch of new tools such as the audio mixer. So to talk a bit about this more, I'd like to introduce another friend and colleague, Wayne Johnson.
Hey guys, thanks Eric. So I just wanted to take a bit of your time to talk about audio and what's happening with audio in Unity 5. Now, I know that in the 4X cycle, we didn't actually have a lot of love given to the audio. There wasn't a lot of features released and there wasn't a lot of bug fixes done. But in Unity 5, we wanted to change that, we wanted to address that. And in fact, we actually wanted to go ahead and make audio a first-class feature of Unity. And what that essentially means is we want to give you guys the tools and the features and the flexibility and the scalability to be able to make really awesome games and really awesome audio in your games. Because essentially, like any good game designer will know, that audio is actually half the immersive experience in a game, or it should be. And so we want to give you the tools that allow you to do that. So, and part of those tools that we want to give you is the audio mixer, which Eric introduced before. And essentially, this is the first step to giving you guys the tools that are flexible, that are like creative, allow you to be creative, and allow you to kind of iterate really fastly and create awesome audio within Unity. So to do that, I just want to show you a little bit of the audio mixer. I've got a talk this afternoon, which you guys should come to, but I'm going to give you a quick demo now about some of the features, and if we could just switch to the other machine, that would be great. The other demo machine, please. Okay, cool. So I have the chamber demo here, which the Learn team has been working on. And basically, I just want to show you some of the things you can do with like transitioning between different areas in terms of audio, and being able to like introduce new parts of the mix, and also, you know, put some effects and those sorts of things on the audio. So if I jump into the scene quickly, you should be able to hear something. Cool. So we just have some sort of lounge music here as I'm sitting in the loungy area. And basically, you can either do audio transitions based on a zone. So if I move around here, we transitioned into a new zone, as you saw. Or maybe we want to do things like transition based on game logic. So for example, I have a situation here where I pick up power-ups and I start introducing more stems. I start introducing sort of instruments into the mix. So I'm sort of building up the energy of the game. So I've just done this quickly on the plane over here actually, but introducing more audio, more interesting elements of audio. So that's cool. But what if we want to do something like maybe create a little bit more kick into this situation? So as an example, I can actually add backing volume here, and from the kick, I can actually add a send. And over here, we can actually just change the characteristics of the sound. And create a bit more punchy kick to the sound. So yeah, so that's basically a quick run over of the audio stuff in Unity. So yeah, can we switch back to the other one? And yes, so part of this sort of rework of audio for Unity 5 is the rewrite that Eric mentioned. And basically what we did there was we had to rewrite a lot of the audio system to make it scalable. So we can't give you all these awesome tools if you can only still work with maybe a limited amount of resources. So basically part of the whole initiative was also to make the audio system in Unity scalable and flexible. And this will allow you to create much more rich, much more deep, and much more kind of intense, audio experiences, and give you guys the tools to get your audio ideas into Unity and into your game. So, yeah, just I guess the final message is that with Unity 5, we're going for a much tighter integration with audio. We want to actually integrate with, going forward, we're going to integrate with a lot more other subsystems to allow you to kind of pair up your audio experience with the rest of Unity and the rest of the subsystems within Unity. We want to give you a really tight authoring experience. So, as you saw with the mixer, something that you can actually just author, while you're playing the game, and give you the tools to create anything that you kind of want. The only thing, hopefully with the tools that we're going to be releasing, that we're releasing with 5, the only limiting thing will be your imagination. So that's the goal. And we really want to have tight iterations. So as you saw, as I said before, jumping into play mode and being able to basically author your whole game soundscape while you're actually playing the game, which I think is super powerful, and allows you to be super creative and create amazing, soundscapes for your game. So yes, I'll be talking later on today at 11, I think. So come to my talk, and I'll show you more of the audio features coming up. So thanks very much, and back to Eric.
Thanks, Wayne. Yes, the audio mixer is really looking amazing. And I think here too, you can really see the passion that these guys have for what they do in the work that they've done, which is really kind of the secret of Unity's success. The people who join Unity have a passion for the things that they work on. It's not just a job. They have this vision of making things better and actually changing the world. And, you guys all benefit from that in the sense that you get these amazing tools and technologies. And you'll see it in the UI, and you'll see it in the audio mixer when that ships in 5.0. So another major update in 5.0 is a system we're calling IL2CPP. So this is a system with two very ambitious goals. The first goal is extreme portability, to enable you to create content for any platform. And the second goal is optimal performance. So, yeah, when you create content in Unity, you write it in C#, and then we, of course, run that C# code on the device with .NET and Mono. And, of course, we'll continue to do that in the future. But for performance, you ideally want to be as close to machine code as possible. So what we do with IL2CPP is we take your C#, we turn it into C++, and we compile it natively to the device. And so we've had a team of really, really sharp guys working on this for quite some time, and we have a pretty good solution ready for 5.0. But we wanted to benchmark it so that we could show you guys kind of what to expect. And this, of course, is a Mandelbrot set, and it turns out that this is a pretty good way to get a performance benchmark for some of this stuff. So we wrote a Mandelbrot set generator, I believe. Seems there. So there we go. Yes. So we wrote a generator to create a Mandelbrot set in Unity to show you how this will actually compare in performance. And the result is amazing. What we found is that our IL2CPP is performing just as good as native C++. So you get the power and safety of C# with the raw performance of C++. And then if we take our IL2CPP generated stuff into JavaScript, into Firefox browser, we can see that it's actually going to outperform Mono. So we've realized a performance goal. And then we have our extreme portability goal. So our first major platform that's going to be powered by IL2CPP is, I guess you could say, the web platform. So web can be a challenging platform to develop for. And if you want to run your game in a browser, you need to run everything in JavaScript. And so that's exactly what we're doing with WebGL being powered by our IL2CPP system. And you can play games today in the browser with our WebGL solution. We'll be extending IL2CPP to other platforms during the 5.x cycle, many platforms. But this is the first one. And here's a quick video of some games already running in WebGL with Unity 5. And of course, WebGL will be free for everyone. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so there's a ton of updates in Unity 5. I wish we could drill into every single one because each one is really cool, but I'll touch on a few others briefly here. So 64-bit editor, yeah, game projects just keep getting bigger and bigger, and now we have a 64-bit editor that will not run out of memory and handle big projects much, much better. So PhysX, we've updated to the latest version of NVIDIA PhysX engine. So there's new cloth physics, new vehicle physics, much improved physics simulation, especially on multi-core devices. SpeedTree is a very good solution for trees and shrubs and bushes. And this is now integrated directly into Unity 5.0. So you can import the SpeedTree files directly. They render quickly, and of course they play nice with our global illumination system. And you'll also be seeing a lot of trees in our asset store from SpeedTree in the near future. But yeah, there's many more changes to Unity 5 that we just couldn't possibly drill into in this short time. But you know, just a few bullets of what these are. We have actually maybe quite a few bullets. This is really the biggest release that we'll have done. And the result is empowerment for you and setting you up to be successful, to make your games. Yeah, this is just amazing. And today we'll announce that the Unity 5.0 beta is now open to our pre-order users. So if you've pre-ordered Unity 5 or otherwise have a 5.0 license, you can download the beta from this URL right now. Yes. So now we want to talk a little bit about the future with the 5.x cycle. And we call this Unity Labs because these are things that we're kind of experimenting with. So it comes with the usual caveat that, you know, not everything you see or hear may actually see the light of day. But what we do have is some very good plans and some very solid ideas that are not very likely to change. And so in the interest of transparency, we'd like to share a little bit of that with you today. So we'll talk a bit about our Director project, and Carl Kellewert will talk a bit about our online services. And right after this keynote, Sean Riley is giving a talk about our fancy plans for our awesome new networking system. So you should definitely check that out. So, the Director. We have a team working in Montreal. Again, another example of a team of guys with a passion for this sort of thing. And they came to us and said, you know, we want to help make Unity great. We want to help make it easier to make games in the industry. And so they put together this quick video of their project. Yes, that's very cool stuff. As you can see, the Director is a bit beyond the laboratory stage, so you can reasonably expect to see it in our 5.x cycle. So next up, Carl Kellewert, another friend and colleague of mine, will talk to you a bit more about online services.
Thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody hears me? There's a clicker here. Okay. Okay. You have to push the button?
Just this one.
Okay. They're tech guys and I cannot make work a clicker. Okay, let's get started here. As Eric mentioned, okay, Does this work? Okay, you hear me? Okay, hold on a second. I'm a tech guy, not an audio guy. Okay, so as Eric mentioned first, there's 2 mountains to climb when you make a game. One is making the game, and the other one is being successful at the game. And we talk about first the first mountain here quick. I think everybody has pressed the build button in Unity. Who has never pressed the build button? Okay, who has pressed the build button? Okay, good. So I made my own games when I pressed first the Android button. I put my bed out, sleep a little bit. Then I go back and I click the switch button to iOS. Go drink from your mojitos, wait for the build. Okay, and that's why with services we want to change that a little bit. And that's why we create the Unity Cloud. So this allows you to build your product directly in the cloud so you can keep drinking mojitos while it all builds. Okay. But you can focus on working on your game. So it doesn't really change for you. You commit the changes, and automatically an agent kicks it off to build it and sends automatically to your device so you can test the game. Some people call it tests, I call it playing games. That's what I do. Okay. So how does it work? You submit your SVN, Burstforce, or GitHub to the cloud, a project to there. And then an agent, at the moment you do a change, an agent kicks it off to build it. It detects the changes, builds it, and sends it to your device. iOS, Android, and the web. There's also a full dashboard for you available where you can see where the errors are, problems are. And it's really good because then you can always point to the guy who did it wrong. Never point to yourself. It's fully available in beta. At the moment, it's fully for free. If you have a pro license, you can apply for the beta. It works for iOS and Android and the web currently. You need a pro license. But in the spirit always of democratization, we're going to have a full free tier also available for you. Isn't that exciting? Okay. Another thing that we really have to think about is connecting with the audiences, the people who play your games. And if you think about that, how many of you use analytics? Yeah. It's really great because we did a poll in North America, it was almost 0. So the more information you know about the players, the more you can change your game or adjust your game to make it better, to monetize. And that's why we created an analytics system, and we're working on it still. It's in very early beta with a dashboard so you can see your monetization, your revenue, your active players. But more important is the team we use to make this came from finance. It's really strange. But they understand, from credit card detection, analyzing, they understand what is action and be like taking action before something happens, not just after. And that's why we have it all built in, and later on I will talk more about that. Now another thing is connecting with the community again. Raise your hand if you do self-publishing or self-distribution. Okay. Almost everybody. So, and nowadays, you use Facebook, Twitter, all social media to connect with your players, and to understand what they want, what you can do for them. And it's there that we really want to nurture and help you to really create a better relationship, but create loyal players. People who play your game all the time and spend all the time money on you. Okay. So the #1 challenge of making a game is finding players. And if you don't have players, if you make a game, there's no money. Okay. Who has that problem? Okay. Only 2 people have that problem here in Australia. Wow. Can you come on stage? Okay. So what we did a poll of 3,000 people to find more information on there. And why we did that? Because you don't ask the question, how can I find players? You really ask the question, how can players find my game? And from a marketing and discoverability, you have to understand how they find the game. If you understand that, then you can target them better. Okay. So finding players. When we look at this, we did a poll and we asked 3,000 people, what's your favorite way to find games? And that is very interesting. The social aspect is number one. Okay? People tell them about the game. The other aspect is the App Store, where people can go to a store and see, hey, what's been featured. But the last one is very interesting, is video. The third biggest way of discoverability is video, where people see on advertising, Twitter, YouTube, movie files about gameplay, and that engages them to play the game. When we segment that out and we look at the big players and the heavy players who spend money on the game, a long time playing games, we see that 75% of those players are engaged to play a game because of end-game movie play, movies that show the game. Now, when we look at those graphs, we have to step back a little bit and think about this. We don't have much control about app stores. But what we have control is about how our community communicates about the game, the social aspect, and maybe creates movie files. So if we can engage audiences to create movie files about our game and share it in a social aspect, that's how we grow a community. That's how you grow your community. If you can create our audiences to create magical moments of the gameplay and share it on their social network. Yes, players are social. Okay? And that's why we acquired EveryPlay. EveryPlay allows you to record gameplay with voiceover, video over, and then share it on the social networks such as Facebook. So what happens now here is I share that movie file, you see it, wow, Carl is such a good player, I want to beat him. Okay? You click on the movie file, and there right away you have the link to download or buy the game. Yeah. We think about this, about 800 games already using EveryPlay. That's cool. But I'm really interested is about this. On the network is 18 million registered users. People who go to the EveryPlay network to watch movie files, to see other gameplay. If I would ask you, how much money would you spend to have access to 18 million users? Think about that. Okay. If you think about this, really cool. We have already 6 million replays on that network, all different games. But the cool fact is always is, it's again, totally for free. Yeah, it's for free. Okay. But I think everybody wants to monetize. How many of you have free games out there? Okay, quite a bit. Now, how you monetize? If you think that 95%, or no, 97, I need to learn to read. 97% doesn't spend money in games or on a game. That's why you could use advertising. I know a lot of people, advertising, it's evil. But what if users like advertising? Yeah. That's why you can integrate with Unity advertising only about games. It relates to them. Okay? But also you can do reward movie files, nicely integrated in the storyline, why they should use advertising. Okay? So why we integrate it? We want to be a game engine that allows you to generate money instead of paying money. I think that's very important. Okay. Another thing is, if you think about that, when you never have integrated advertising, yes, this year alone, we paid out $20 million already to our community. It's integrated advertising. Okay. I'm going to give you a stupid example. Myself, I have a little stupid game made. I integrated advertising. It's 4 years old now. And I'm still up to date. I still make every month $150, $200 on advertising in there. I have not touched the project since 4 years. So it's every year a nice party I do at my house with it. But also, I think that's very important. Not just advertising, but also promoting your game through videos, as we said, the social aspect, to others. promoting your game in another game you have. And that's why we have no free, totally free video cross-promotion. Yeah. And you can also run ad campaigns where you can actually advertise a game through movie or through images on whole that network built out. So our services allow you to, with combination of really like the advertising, every play, analytics, to really build it out, and to build a community, to create discoverability. And I'm going to give you more information during my 2 sessions at Unity Cloud Build and every play. Here's the information. I hope to see you there. I know we went already a little bit over time, but we're going to push everything a little bit back. Thank you so much. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Carl. And that's it for our keynote. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for having us. And have a great rest of Unite Australia 2014.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm just going to read a letter. Please sit down for 2 hours. Okay. Nah. Okay. Just before you go to the sessions, I want to thank everybody. It's you. Yeah, it's really you who makes Unite possible. It's you who makes the game that we play and spend money on. So a big applause, first of all, for yourself. Nice to be here. Okay. But I'm personally very excited after seeing the keynote here. I want to thank the devs to especially come out here, but also to allow me to make my own game faster. I just integrated in my own game the audio. Super simple. You have to know I'm a copy-paste programmer. If I can make a game, I love it. Okay. But also I'm very excited to be here in Australia. It's actually my 19th Unite. Super excited about it. But most of all, I'm super awesome to be here. I think it's one of the most awesome countries to be. The landscape of game industry is amazing here. Meeting some indie guys here. Yes, I have played thousands of hours, Ski Safari, CubeMan, until my boss asked me, Carl, have you worked last night or just played whole night games? The other one, yeah. So just want to give you some information here, what's all going on. So if you walk out here, there's the lunch provided by Intel. Thank you, Intel. Thanks to all our collaboration with Intel, we can provide now support for the x86 Intel Android chip. This allows you to push your games also to the Intel store. If you want more information about that, or take a game and port it, there's a porting lab upstairs for that. Another thing is that here is the educational track, and upstairs are the premium tracks. And also, there's some booths of our sponsors outside here, so you can go ask questions for that. And I'm just going to check here that I don't forget anything. And also, if you want to ask questions to our experts, to our sponsors, there's an Ask the Expert time. And there you can casually ask questions, take your project, and they will help you. I also want to thank Martin from Storm FX. He's providing some pinball machines, so you can have some upstairs old arcade games to play with them too, so you want to have some downtime. Okay. But I also want to thank our sponsors, Intel, Microsoft, Nintendo, Swinburne University, and Storm FX to make this all possible. Okay. Thank you so much, and I see you soon. And I will be tasting some of your great wine here too. So.